Welcome, welcome to On the Scene with Patricia McDougall. And guess who's back? My co-host,
Tamrad Madin.
from Little Ethiopia Magazine. He is in the building today. So happy to have you back, Tamron.
Thank you so much. It's
My
wonderful, yeah.
Yes, yes. I was trying to get away with having him do the whole show today, but he insists. I'm here to support my friend Tamron. He has so much to talk about, so and so do I. So we just want to keep it going, but we're going to make sure that we know that he's back and he has a lot to talk about. So how about we do this? So of course, I've been all over the place. I was hanging out a million things, Larry White, and so just a lot going on. So I'm telling you. And for yourself?
Well, there are some activities. I can't say there are a lot of going, but on March 4, we had the 13th wreath-laying ceremony in front of the African-American Civil War, where we honored an African-American and Ethiopian veterans who fought for freedom. As you well know, we have been doing it for the last 12 times, and we celebrate that one. And we are preparing to have another event on March 29. We're going to have another Ethio Mixer USA, where we'll be discussing about the Ethiopian War and also especially to discuss the new film, the famous movie called The Black Panther in relationship to Ethiopia. So we're going to have an event at the Fraser Mansion on March 29. You are invited. It begins 6 to 9. It's going to be a good event.
Okay.
And that will prepare us for the next wreath-laying ceremony, which is going to be held on May 5. Or most of the time people call it Cinco Mayo. Is that what they call it?
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo, which is a very famous day. And it is also very famous for Ethiopia because that was the day Emperor Haile Selassie came back to his throne after 5 years of exile, because Ethiopia was occupied by the Italians, and the Ethiopian people were fighting, and the patriots were fighting. So we honor those two, we commemorate those two important days. The first one is the Battle of Adwa, the victory of the Battle of Adwa. The second one is the Meaze Hasabat, because they are very important for all black people. In fact, it's very important for all people of the world who believe and respect freedom for all people, because those two wars were very important. The first one, the 1896, really broke the first attempt by Europeans to colonize all the African countries. Right. The second one was a second attempt, and with the grace of God twice, we were able to beat the Europeans, and we kept our freedom. So at the same time, we'd like to say thank you to the African Americans who came here before us and made things easier for us when we came. It was in 1975 because we failed under a brutal military government, and we were really very welcome. In fact, the United States Congress was a bipartisan resolutions to help us stay in the United States, and later were given amnesty. So we really appreciate what's going on in the United States for us, and we like to educate people on that. That's
Absolutely.
what we are trying to do.
Right, yeah. Right. Well, I always say that Tamron is a walking book. He has so much knowledge of all the things that are going on, not just right here around the D.C. area, but also in Ethiopia. He keeps up with all of his, friends and family members, and just key officials that actually are in and about the area here in the DC area. So we appreciate that, because you did the wreath laying and everything.
Ethiopia is the cradle of humanity, and everyone belongs to Ethiopia.
Yes,
so we have to inform you. We have to inform you. We want you to be active. That's what we are looking.
Yes, I truly agree. So hey. We appreciate you every time when you come back, and you make sure we hear about the Ethiopia culture and what's going on. Yeah. Tell us about that magazine.
Well, mostly we try to write the current situation in Ethiopia, especially at this time. Ethiopia is very, very famous.
Yes.
It is in the news daily, and sometimes it's also very funny, because when I see an article saying the Prime Minister of Ethiopia resigned, it looks like the whole country is gonna go down, because people don't realize the Prime Minister in Ethiopia doesn't have any power.
Right.
All the power comes at the time of the emperor. It came from the emperor. At the time of the military junta, it came from that a colonel who was very brutal. And now with this government, there is a group which is ruling, the country is a ruling group. So, but for the outside world, they feel that way. And that makes me sometimes very angry because there is a misrepresentation or the way they present the news like that. So the American public will think, or the European public will think, oh, in Ethiopia, the prime minister is gone. And no, it's completely different. There are other issues that needs to be done. But we'll talk about it in the future because discussing the political situation of in Ethiopia brings controversy. I'll try to avoid and concentrate on the educational part,
Right.
Soon I'm planning to go to the mayor and see the mayor and the chairman of the DC Council because I don't know if you remember, if you read, there was an article 3 or 4 years ago. There was a very important gift given to the city. The emperor, when he came in 1954, he gave an elephant tusk, and that was stolen. It was stolen from the chairman's office. Up to now, they have not given me any answer. So, but I don't want to embarrass people, but I want to slowly try to see what we can do. So I'm preparing to write later next week. I want to get a final situation and then probably take it to the Congress. Why should the most important emperor, a very, very, very famous emperor who's been in the United States 6 state visits, and Howard University bestowed upon him a doctorate degree. He was so famous. Why should the district citizens lose that? So that's going to come back. So that would be a good news for you starting from next week.
Oh, my goodness. He's going to keep me busy. I was actually on vacation, supposed to be on vacation this week with Howard University having spring break. And I feel like I didn't get any rest.
Well,
just being all over the place.
Yeah, we can't trace. We have a lot of responsibility because, you see, if the younger generation who are coming after us are not given a good information, they can assume always things were as smooth as they think because all this came up after a lot of fight. People have fight for this. People have died. For instance, in the case of Ethiopia, if you see in the battles, just a group of people just go in, just die, So these are very important to teach them that they can use for the future. So our people were like that, and we have to be great. That's the key, that's what we're trying to teach.
Wow, yeah. Amazing. So as you can see, Tamron has a lot to talk about. And you have something coming up too, a mixer or something?
Yes, coming on March 29. Mark it. It begins from 6 to 9. We'll be discussing the Black Panther and the relationship with Ethiopia. And one of the gentlemen who placed the wreath was a descendant of one of the generals who actually helped the Emperor Menelik, who decisively defeated the Italians. He was abducted by a former emperor, so he stole him and took him out. So this guy who put the wreath, if you see over there, Dr. Abebe, is a descendant of him. So we're gonna bring them and discuss it. They have an organization called Abbo. Ethiopians have got different kind of cultural loose organizations here and there. So he's one of them. So and then our friend Hick, you know him.
Yes.
He's been doing a lot of research on Black history, and we invited him to play wreath because historically that's an honor for him.
Yes.
Because the people who put the wreath, they get an honor. And the African Americans and Ethiopian veterans also are honored on that day. So we have done it literally every year. We began on 2007 for the first time with the grandson of Emperor Haile Selassie for the Ethiopian Millennium. And then after that, after 3 years from 2011, we continuously give it to different people, depending upon the criteria. Sometimes we bring African Americans, sometimes Ethiopians, sometimes African American and Ethiopians, and at other times we have Professor Vestal, who was a senior, one of the senior staff with the Peace Corps in Ethiopia, and he has written great books. So we brought him. So it's different times, different. Even my grandson was once there because he has got some connection in his. Is a descendant of one of a general. So we just try to, bring this. It looks like a small thing. It's about probably a half-an-hour event, but we're trying to make sure that history is recorded. That's what we're trying to do.
Okay. Well, hey, we love having you just kind of sharing all the stuff that you're doing. I said, let me give you the mic today. Okay. I'm always doing all the talking.
All right, I know.
But
I know.
You probably said, what is she doing, right? Hey, because he has a lot to say. That's why I want to make sure that I give him the mic for a minute. But anyway, I'm just going to move move right along, if it's okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple of things that I did. But first, I want to give a big shout out to Cheryl Woods. She's the host of Impact the World Radio, and she had me as on her show as a guest. And so I truly enjoyed that. I stopped everything, I told her, just to make sure that I was there. And it was very refreshing. I learned a lot from her show. It's very engaging. She has people calling in. So her show is every Wednesday, so we want to make sure that you tune in. I did send a picture, if you can show that, please. It's in a folder there. If we can show Woods. It would be in the folder, if you need to know, if you don't have it pulled up, that says, look, I have to think of where it is, right? Because I did put it in there, right? Okay, we're going to come back to that, right? But it is in my folder, one of the folders there. There we go. So that's Cheryl, if anybody, I'm not everybody knows Cheryl. So she has a show every Wednesday, and I was actually one of her guests. So I just want to give a big shout out to her. And I want to move it right along. I want to mention Happy St. Patrick's Day yesterday, which everybody celebrated, and I did have a picture from that when I was actually down there. I guess it's down, where's that place right there, down by the waterfront? I guess that's what you would call it. I spent last weekend there, had my brother, and had a wonderful time hanging out with him. But more importantly, I was hanging out with Larry, and we had so much fun. Oh, my goodness. We had Kimberly McLemore. That's Larry, a big shout out, because he's always shouting out to me. And that is Kimberly McLemore. She actually had a book signing, and so I was the photographer, and it was awesome. I did share it on social media, and she was there to, questions, answer. That was actually a photo shoot I had on Friday as well. I mean, I'm doing so much I can't even keep up with myself, right? And that's Larry doing his thing. Well, we had fun on the 17th. We were at the Kate Walker Branch Library, and she was doing her thing. Please support her. She's going to have more book signings. They're actually going to have a big, giant book fair coming up. I think it's on the 31st, if I'm correct, in Virginia, but more details to come on that. We're going to move it right along. I'm going to put up something on 2018 Honoring Global Women Dinner. I was there last night with Anna. Everybody knows Anna. Oh my goodness. I won't even say her last name. If we can put that photo up. We were actually in Gaithersburg after I did the book signing. And that was a wonderful dinner celebration. We had a wonderful time. We had some key officials there. I will share my pictures on social media later today. It's a Diaspora Women for Change. And who was there. But more importantly, Anna did her piece. She celebrated. Her last name is Magualago. I say that right. Everybody knows Anna. Anyway, she does a little skit. And she's going to share the video once it becomes available to her. And also we had Ambassador Linda Thomas Greenfield, along with Cisa Finch, and also Imara Woods. She was there. And you could go to Anna's Facebook page. I'm sure you'll find additional information on that. It was a very interesting piece. They did some drumming and all that stuff, and I will be sure to celebrate it. And moving right along, we want to talk about another piece that I did. I have to get to it. I did so many different types of events. I can't even keep up with myself, right? So bear with me a minute. Before I even go into that, I want to say a happy birthday to my son, Jared. He actually celebrated his birthday. We were over there having a wonderful time at a restaurant in D.C. We also, a big shout out to Reese, my godson. We celebrated with him as well. And Leah's birthday, she's going to be 16, sweet 16, on the 20th, which is Tuesday. So we celebrated her birthday earlier with some family and friends. And so can we show the pictures from the birthday party, please? With Jared in there. It says Pat birthday. So that's Reese, my godson on the right, and actually my son Jared on the left. Yep, they keep trying. And that's Donna in the middle. That's my girl right there. That's the godmother to Jared, and I'm the godmother to her son. And this is, we were actually down at the National Harbor hanging out. And we had so much much fun. Oh my goodness. So a big shout out to both of them. One is 21 and one is 30. So guess who? My son, of course, is 30, right? And Leah is going to be sweet 16. So we are so excited to celebrate their birthday. She's actually going to, I was trying to do the big dance, mom dance, pop dance, the whole shebang, and have her dress up in a gown, but she wouldn't do it. So she wants to just kind of go in a limo and hang out. Larry White, he actually provided the. They go over to the National Harbor. I'm going to take some pictures. Hopefully, if it doesn't snow that evening, they'll be able to go over to the National Harbor and have dinner and have some fun and celebrate it with her friends in the limo, stretch limo that Larry is actually going to provide for them. So I want to give a big shout out to Leah and Jared and Reese for celebrating their birthday. Amongst all my Facebook friends, I want to give a shout out to them as well. So, actually, the Cherry Blossoms is coming up. I don't know. They have a parade. They have the whole shebang. I did save a picture from a while ago, so I want to just share that. So I'm not sure if the cherry blossoms are going to look like the way you see them right now in the picture, but I just want to show you. That was when the cherry blossoms were really nice. When we was down the mall, we had a wonderful time. As you can see, it was nice and warm and hot. Hopefully, we'll have some nice weather coming up in April. Is when they kind of come out, or I guess it's late March, April, in between there, depending on when the cherry blossoms bloom. But anyway, we're going to come right along and come out of that area. And I want to talk a little bit about a couple of things that I'm actually doing. Women's Magazine. It says, and it's a women magazine. And so I'm actually going to, as you can see, if you want to get, I don't know if you could see the picture here, if you could put it over here. This is a women's magazine that I'm actually starting to invite all the women who want to put their face not only on the cover, but inside. I mean, I do photos for, the spreads and stuff like that. We don't have the pictures here for my client. But anyway, if you want to get in this magazine or just put your information and talk about what you do, please see me. This magazine is provided by MEA Magazine as well. If you want to get on the cover of this magazine, which I actually can get you on this, we're going to put Tamron. He's going to be on the cover of this one. But anyway, so I did the cover of the magazine. I took the photos, as you can clearly see. And then again, like if you look into the middle of the magazine, if you could see it from here, I actually I take some of the pictures, do some of the spreads, etc. But if you want to be a sponsor, if you just want to put a business card in there, anything you want to do, it's wide open. But please get with me on that, social media. Send me an inbox me. We'll make sure that you either get on the cover. The July-August issue is available for the women's magazine for if you're interested in being on the cover of this magazine. It's a women leadership. I could think of so many people who need to be on this cover. Okay, CBC, they're getting ready to have a big giant gala. A big shout out to Sunny and Deborah on providing the services here. But you definitely want to get on the cover or either get inside because CBC is going to be big. Of course, we're getting ready for that already, right? And they're going to have a magazine coming out, and you definitely want to be a part of that. So I just wanted to say that, Tamara. So we'll talk about you getting on in the issue, the upcoming issue. Of that as well. And so I actually went down to Baltimore. I had a photo shoot. So I do have a picture of Baltimore because the last time I was but I did take a picture right when I was leaving out of Baltimore. I actually had a photo shoot. But I'm going to tell you, it took me 2 hours to get there and 2 hours to get back. So once I had a photo shoot down there on the mall, at MGM, I was a little late because there was so much traffic going to and from the downtown Baltimore area, but the photo shoot that I had down there was wonderful. And I also did a photo shoot at the MGM with Larry. He provided that. We took some photos, and for the people that came out to support it, thank you very much. I appreciate it. They will be getting their pictures later on today. So I'm excited about that. So what do you think about all this stuff that we're doing? Oh, before I forget, one more thing. Let's show the sneakers, because I know gun control, that's so important. I know I'm not really into all this politics and stuff. I did not get to go on the mall because I missed it. I went the next day. How funny is that, right? So, but I did. For all of you who were able to see the sneakers down there that right there is another event. So leave it right there, being that you took it to that level, right? So this right here is the Ghana. They had a little gala. I was actually at the gala. I didn't get to go to the conference. And Kwame, he actually invited me, and they were really celebrating. Oh my goodness, what fun! I'll share some pictures on social media today as well. This is actually their program booklet that I actually picked up while I was in there. And for the diaspora women, Women for Change, this is their cover of, and I guess this is their logo. So a big shout out to them for having a wonderful
You've been very
event.
busy, huh?
So I've been so busy. But can we show the sneakers, please? Yes, I didn't get to go down the mall for that, but that was at Capitol Hill. I actually went the next day. So my schedule was too busy. I couldn't even stop for 1 minute to get out there and get those photos, right? So as you can see, it was beautiful, and we have to stop the mess, and we need to make it safe for our kids in the school. So I'm all for, supporting that cause and making it safer for our kids in the school system, especially since I have kids myself. But anyway, I just want to say one thing. I have a couple of friends from Staten Island who will be coming to the D.C. area. So big shout out to my Staten Island friends. They are going to have a Mother's Day brunch. So they're actually going to have a whole weekend when they're here. They're going to be kind of hanging out in the Alexandria area, D.C. area. So a big shout out to my friends that's going to be coming soon. I am going to surprise them. Not a surprise, but I'm going to be in the building on the brunch. So how about Monday? I can't make it on the Friday because I will be at another program out of town in Atlantic City, and you probably can't see that, but Soul Nations event, I will be I will be the photographer. How about that? This event is going to be Gladys Knight, Maxwell, and Vivian Green. If you're interested in getting on the bus and coming out to Atlantic City, spending the evening there. I know, right? Spending the night. They actually have a bus leaving, not to keep my my other friends from Staten Island coming here. They won't be able to go because they'll be hanging out, having fun. But the information, if you need some additional information on going to the show in Atlantic City, gambling, having fun, and partying with Soul Nations events with Gladys Knight, Maxwell, and Vivian Green, inbox me. That's on May 12th. So that's where I'll be, and then I'll come back for the brunch with my friends at
You were very busy.
yeah, at the National Harbor. So a big shout out to all and everyone, doing their thing.
That's amazing. You have a lot of places to go. Huh?
And I probably missed some events, but more importantly, I just wanted to, just kind of tell you what I was doing for the week.
Did you go to the African Union event? I thought the chairman of the African Union president over there.
I did. This was the African Union event. I wasn't able to get to the
I thought
conference.
This was the Ghana, the diaspora.
It was, but they actually did some stuff. It was at the African Union building, and so they were there for the day having, a day event. I wasn't able to make it, of course, because my schedule was too tight. Well, it wasn't too tight. I was actually working at my regular job on that day, so I wasn't able to go. I was only able to go on the Friday when they had their
So how was
event
it? What
in the
did they discuss?
evening. You're asking me? Listen, I just went to the gala. Like I said, the gala was more relaxed.
Just to enjoy,
No, I didn't enjoy. I was working, right? So there was a lot of dancing. There was a lot of conversation. However, it was more of an awards type of ceremony. If you want to mention some of the awardees' names, I'm sure you probably know them, or who was participating in it. I really couldn't tell you because, like I said, I was actually working and taking pictures of the fun stuff that was going on. They had dinner, they had food. I mean, of course, dinner is food, right? So we just had a wonderful time. Yeah, so that was nice. So you've been over there to the African Union events over there?
Yeah, I have been many times. Yes.
They actually invited people to be involved in their movement. So I'm going to be representing my country, Belize. So I told Tamron we're going to have him come in and represent and volunteer his time for being, from Ethiopia, because we have a lot to offer from all these different countries, and we need to come together.
What I'm very much interested about them is the hope that Africa is going to be one nation in 2063.
Okay.
So that it will be a very strong combination of several countries. It's about 54 and 55 African nations together.
Wow.
That is 2063. If that happens, it would be very great because in 2013 we had 2 Ethio Mixer USS because there was a complaint and a lot of people were alleging that if Emperor Haile Selassie wanted, when the African Union was formed in '63, they believe that he could have been able to have Africa united, but I doubt it very much at that time. But now, with the way our things are going on, many African countries are in big trouble. You know, a lot of problems like corruption, coup d'etats, and
Oh
other
yes,
things.
all over sad.
To be one strong entity because they can fight the international business competition too, because the Chinese, the Indians are coming in bigger force and
Right.
getting a big pie of Africa. So that participation would be very important. That's what I believe in it. You know.
Oh, okay, unity and having everybody come together.
Exactly.
Absolutely, that would be wonderful, wouldn't
See,
it?
all
Because
these
we have a
things-
lot of stuff going
Yeah.
on. But all of these events that I'm going to, I mean, there's so many different subjects, and there's so much. You know, DC is so rich in all the events that they have. You have all your politicians here in this area, and not so, but you have everybody who is getting involved in helping and making it better. Not just here, but just people. So helping each other to. Whatever problems they had in the past, to help them to overcome it and to work with them through that, and the gun violence, of course, not that I'm being on the politician side, right? But helping to make sure that our school system is safe. They did have that big walkout. I wasn't able to get to my daughter's school to actually get some footage of that. However, I did ask her, how did she feel about that? She said it was so secure that she just went out into the school yard. They stayed there for a few minutes and walked back in. And I know that all the kids, they said they wanted to leave and not come back. But I said, don't worry, the McDonald's that was down the street was going to have security and they wouldn't be able to get in. And that was exactly the case. They couldn't even leave to go anywhere. Yeah, so that was kind of cool that they had it secured like that.
You got a lot of information for us. That's great.
Yeah, a little bit too much. I mean, I stay so busy. Larry has me busy as well, doing lots of events with him. And it's just going to pick up speed. I mean, we have stuff that's going to be going on that I'll inform you as it gets a little closer to the dates. Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday also we missed you. We went to our friends, the Office of the National Affairs. They were celebrating Ann Roller's birthday yesterday. So we missed you. It was a big one at Maryland University.
Oh, yes, I did hear about that. Yes, I did. Right,
I didn't have
right.
pictures, but next time maybe I'll show you some pictures.
That's okay. Yeah, Tamron, he comes in here when he can. I mean, he keeps a very rigid schedule. He's all over the D.C. area. He actually does real estate. He doesn't really talk about it too much. But I believe if you don't talk about it, it doesn't work. So you need to talk about it sometime and tell him what you do.
I concentrate on my clients, better referral. That's what we do. So maybe in the future we might do that. But right now my concentration is on this Pan-African relationships. And,
Okay.
I'm very grateful for the mayor of Washington, D.C. In the past, I was given awards and also
Yes,
given
he
by the
was.
governor of the Maryland.
Yes,
So
yes.
those things help. So we have a lot of things to do as an immigrant community. Just this is the first and second generation. We came in bigger numbers in 1975 after the fail of the king was overthrown. So we
Okay.
are concentrating to build relationship and educate the people who are coming. That's very, very important. I believe in that. That's why we have so many programs. We have the Pan-African holiday celebration of Kwan Nagana. We have the Ethio Mixer USA, the Wreath Tailbearing. All these are
Oh,
just
it's
to
a
bring
lot.
friendship. That's what we're trying to do.
I see. Well, anyway, just wanted to say I have a new flyer. Can we show our new flyer? I actually, when I took the flyer before, when I did my little program here, as you can see, it's terrible on my thing here. But I updated it with a new picture of the Capitol, as you can clearly see. I think that one looks a little better. What do you think?
That's good. I see the little Ethiopia.
I
Yes,
see
yes,
a
good.
little
Yeah.
Ethiopia.
You are recognizing us. That's good.
No, we always recognize Tamron, but I want to give a shot. Now, I actually took that picture. The other one was blue, so we changed it up. So I hope you like.
Thank
Please
you.
give
It's good.
feedbacks
It's good.
on what you think about
Yeah,
that
thank you.
flyer.
Thank you so much.
That's the new one that I actually put up there. So anyway, going forward, we have a lot of events coming up. I'm not to name them right at the moment, but we want to say where we can find out about his Ethiopia mix, the new one. Can you tell them where to find you, Tamron?
On littleethiopia.org. Repeat, littleethiopia.org, or you can email me at littleethiopia@gmail.com.
So, and of course, with me, of course, you can find me at www.patriciamcdougallphotos.com, where you find a lot of pictures, but also www.patriciamcdougallphotos.net, a smaller version, or Patricia McDougall on the scene. You can find me on all my social channels, of course. Just look up Patricia McDougall on the scene. Everything will pull up. We're going to get you updated with all the different videos from the different events shortly. So a big shout out to everybody who's tuning in every Sunday at 2. We have some treats coming up in the next couple of shows. So please tune in every Sunday at 2 o'clock. So, you can get a feel for what we're doing here on the show and what we're doing in the D.C. area.
Good.
Is that good? All right.
thank
Well,
you.
thank you again for tuning in.
Thank
Patricia
you
McDougall
again.
on the
This is
scene.
Tamrad again.
Absolutely.
See you next week.
Absolutely.